Hey, what's up? So, today I wanted to just show some cool ways to chop up a sample. Just before I started this video, I made this long sound design file. And this was basically just me with a synth and a filter, just playing around and recording the output. So there's kind of a variation in loudness there, but yeah, so it goes on this whole journey. And I would like to just kind of find some random phrases. So I'm going to try to use a sampler. And there's several different ways you can go about doing this. But I think for now, we'll try to do some sort of arpeggiator way. And actually, the easiest way to do that is actually with a simpler, because it has a slice mode. So I can drag this long sample into the simpler, and then maybe we'll just focus on this first section here, because I know that to be pretty similar. And then you can go into the slice mode, and you can see it tries to detect all the transients, which is cool. But I like to turn it on gate and then region for the slice by. And if you crank the regions up, you just get an even amount of slices. And then the slices aren't on your transients, but you can go in and move them. But I like doing it that way sometimes, so I'll try that this time. And then we're going to need a MIDI arpeggiator. And then here we're also going to need a velocity. Actually, we're not doing it by velocity right now, but I'll show you that next. So for now, it's just this arpeggiator, and then we can set the distance to +1, and the steps all the way up, and then we'll get kind of a cascade effect, I think, of different samples. So that lets you kind of select through a few of them and get a rhythm going. And then I can use a pitch plugin to kind of move around the sample start position. And what's cool about that is now I can actually just automate this pitch plugin. But see, that's such a big range, I might actually group it and map it to a macro and then automate it. Cool. So yeah, that's a pretty easy way to go get a random rhythm, and then you can start to do random on this style. So I could do random other on the Arpeggiator. And then I like to just kind of use that free rate on the Arpeggiator to get it into sitting with drums. So if I just had a simple drum beat. So once you get something you like, you can bounce it out. At some point when you're working on it, and you can kind of get it to sit better rhythmically. and something that I feel like is pretty fun too is you can take hits like this and just put them on a new channel and then kind of pitch it up, reverse it, and then have like a little swoop. Like get some of these and pitch them up even 2 octaves, maybe a couple of them. I love that filter sound right there, so I think I'm going to use it more often. Okay. So then, you know, you can duplicate and then duplicate time and then get a little response going. Yeah, something like that with this new one. And for this, you know, we can just change the pitch. I'll just delete that right there. And we can do this kind of thing with perks too. So maybe I'll just find some, I don't know if this qualifies as perks, but I labeled it as such. It could be, let's see. Oh, it's already in a simpler, so yeah. With simpler, you can warp things. So let's do beats mode, play forwards and stop on transients, and then reduce the envelope. And then maybe a glue compressor to kind of clip it. So I'll turn down the range and then the gain up. And then to compensate, I'll just turn the gain back down a little. So you can see it hitting the clip. So maybe we wanted to get some different kind of perk shots out of this that we can use in our song, but we want to kind of select them randomly. So So here in the modulation tab, we can set it to random. I think the other thing I'll do is just cut the lows out of that. Because like I said, we want it to be like percussive. Something that's great for percussion is the corpus. Cool, so that's sounding better. So let's do something a bit more wild here. Let's get this plugin called Fracture out. This is the XT. There's a free version of this. So I'll just make the dry wet fully wet, and then I can hit this random button to randomize the whole preset. So I'll just open a new chain, record from 5, and now I'm just gonna randomize this. Alright, I'll just delete that now. And yeah, so we can use a sampler to mess around with this long recording now too. This whole thing. So we can do sampler. And this time I'll use probably velocity. So put that in there. So here in the MIDI tab, we're going to go to velocity and then sample offset and turn that all the way up. And then we can make a note. C3 will be the original pitch of the sample. And then get our friend the Arpeggiator out again. And we want that, so now as our selection we're going to use, as our selector we're going to use the velocity, because we mapped the sample offset to the velocity. So to do that, we're going to want to group this and then map these both to macro 1. Just map them both to macro 1, and then we can select the sample start with this macro. And then we can also turn the random up, and it gives us a little halo, so we're getting a granular synthesizer going now. So that's kind of just like a random perk thing, I guess. Just another way to bounce around a sample via velocity. I'm just going to use a delay here with the 0% feedback setting and fully wet, no filter, just to delay the entire track by a few milliseconds, just to get it behind the beat a little bit. And then we could just see how that works, I guess. Cool, it's just a weird sounding hi-hat, I guess. I love putting vocoder on this kind of stuff. Yeah, so just a couple ways to, you know, get more out of your long audio samples. If you do a lot of sound design or something and you have all these long audio samples, there's a lot of cool ways to use randomness. The bass is so dynamic, I might I would actually probably go back in and add another sub, because see all these little although actually those spaces are probably good. I actually should probably keep those. Maybe it makes these moments stand out more. Yeah, it's a nice bass sound. For anyone who's interested, I made that with the Electron Analog Heat, and I was processing Loom, which is this synthesizer right here. And I recommend this synth because it's like, you can get it for like $10 if you get it at the right time of year. And it's a hell of a additive synth for like $10. And you can just make really futuristic sounds with this thing. Check it out in tutorials. You should pick it up if you have a chance. That's what all these sounds are from. And I can play through that audio sample a little bit more just to... Oh wait, that's the wrong one. So basically like sample and hold LFO to the filter cutoff. But then I started changing the loom patch.